You're listening to the GeekCast Radio Network of podcasts.
Cliff Jumper, commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Tune in next week for a much better episode. For now, though, courage.
Hello, and welcome to the 37th episode of ToyCast. 37? Yes, that's right.
In a row?
Sponsored by www.bigbadtoystar.com, where you can save from 20 to 90% on over 1,700 items. I am your host, TFG1 Mike, and joining me for the first time ever on this show is Mike the Birdman Dodd from This Week in Geek.
Hi!
Yeah. So, how are you, Mike? This is the first time you've been on a ToyCast.
I know, and it's weird, because I love toys. I just never usually have free time to talk about them. Usually me, toys equals video games, but I can talk about video game tie-ins at, some point, so, yeah.
What we normally do, just to let Mike know, because this is the first time he's been on the show, I doubt he's ever actually listened to any of our other episodes, but we basically, when I started this show, it was specifically Transformers-based on Transformers toys, because that's basically what my collection is for the majority. And then I started branching out into stuff like this, which is the Mighty Muggs. And I've just broadened it to be just ToyCast in general, and you can talk about any kind of toy line, anything, whatever. If you got an old Rock'em Sock'em robot set, you can talk about that if you want to. So what we do is we each take turns talking about the toy that we're going to talk about, and we just discuss it and opinionate on it, and we just go from there and then close the show. So it's fairly cut and dry, simple thing. I'm going to go first. I am going to be talking about Marvel Mighty Muggs Wolverine. This is the yellow, blue, red, and black version, the classic uniform of Wolverine. He does have his claws, which are very, very cool. I'm showing Mike on the video if I can get it aimed right. I should be able
There we go, yep.
Oh. Yeah, the claws are kind of weird. They're supposed to look like metal, but obviously they are plastic, and they do kind of bend a little bit. But the Mighty Muggs in general aren't supposed to be... They're pretty much display figures. We've talked about these before on ToyCast, and Wolverine looks really, really cool. There are actually 3 different versions of Wolverine. There's this version. There is a Logan version where it's him without the yellow spandex. He's in jeans and like a white wife beater, and doesn't have a mask on.
Now, Mike, is that version a kind of chase variant, or is that fairly easy to find?
Trying to think. I think that was an SDCC exclusive. I could be wrong though. The SDCC exclusive is the Wolverine from the movie, the latest movie.
Yeah.
Because that Wolverine has retractable claws. So there's a button. There would be see his arm here where my finger is.
Yeah.
There would be a button here that would go down his arm that would open and close the claws.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Overall, I've said before on this show, I'm really enjoying the Mighty Muggs. Wolverine is kind of like my new favorite one. I usually have him posed like this, so he's kind of like looking to the right, and I usually just have him standing on my computer tower, so he's kind of like looking at me saying, "What's up with you, bub?" But just a great homage to the X-Men animated series design and the overall classic design of Wolverine. I really, really enjoy it. Another reason why I've been getting into the Marvel Mighty Muggs, and Mike, you might like this. I know you like a whole bunch of... I don't know if you like stop motion, but I know you like animation in general, but there's a guy who created a stop-motion Mighty Muggs superhero show. It's called Superhero Muggs. You can see it on superheromugs.com.
That's pretty cool.
He takes all his Marvel mugs and he has this story behind, he's created this whole story around them where they're living in his apartment and they're supposedly quote-unquote alive. And nobody is supposed to know that these things are alive, and it's just a really, really fun show. I plan on getting a lot more of the Marvel mugs. Right now I have Wolverine, Hulk, and the Human Torch. I believe there's close to 18. No, it's more like 30 total. So I would like to find them all. Mighty Muggs for me is kind of like what Pokemon was to a lot of people back in the 90s. Gotta catch them all. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Overall, Wolverine is not that hard to find. I actually found him at HasbroToyShop.com for, I believe, $11, which isn't bad for these things. I think the most I've paid for one of these is probably $25, but that was like it was a early, right before it got released type of deal. Ooh, my shoulder just popped. Damn it. So that's going to be it for me. Mike, what are you going to be talking about?
Okay, well, one of the things I'm a huge fan of is Star Wars, and I want to talk about the Force FX Signature Series, and that's coming to you from Hasbro. Now, this series used to belong to a company called Master Replicas, who does a lot of the Disney and Marvel props. Like, you might see stuff from Pirates of the Caribbean, or even the Muppets. They had a full-scale Kermit and Gonzo a couple of years ago. I think they even have Animal. So what they used to do is they used to create these limited edition lightsabers, where they'd be, say, 4,100 of a particular run. But one of the things they did for a while there was they created a series called the Force FX lightsaber, which puts a very detailed lightsaber hilt into your hand with a polycarbonate tube on top and 64 sequential LEDs, and it would give you a lightsaber effect, which is very cool. So Force FX traded hands from Master Replicas to Hasbro a couple of years ago, and now there's a bunch of new ones. So these series, now these things are expensive. They are toys or prop replicas, but they're not the highest end you can possibly go. So these things run about $120, but they're very, very worth it. Some of the ones they have available is Darth Vader from A New Hope, Luke Skywalker from The Empire Strikes Back. Some of the cooler ones, which I'm really, really, really interested in, which should be shown at Toy Fair, if not available very shortly, is Asajj Ventress, Count Dooku, which is different because the series now has curved hilts. Before, they could only do hilts that were straight. I myself am still waiting for a Qui-Gon Jinn, but we'll hopefully get to that. But anyway, so these things, they're pretty cool. Like, you can actually duel with them if you know how to do it right. I mean, if you smack them too hard against each other, you'll pop one of the LEDs, and then you got yourself an expensive chunk of plastic and metal. But still, the thing that makes these things really stand out is the attention to detail. I mean, one of my favorite hilts, because I think it's the very close in terms of movie accuracy, was the Anakin Skywalker one, which would then later become Luke's lightsaber in A New Hope, mind you, with some new buttons and some stuff added onto it. But they all come in a variety of different blade colors. There's Mace Windu's purple lightsaber, Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber, which can be attached to each other, which is pretty cool. I think the Asajj Ventress one has the same option, but I can't see any really detailed pictures of it. So hopefully on a future ToyCast, I'll have one of these in hand from Hasbro to talk about it more. But they also have the classic blue lightsaber of Obi-Wan and Luke. They also have the green lightsaber of Yoda, which is really cool. The Yoda lightsaber is really small, but it's really cool. It fits comfortably in your hand. It actually has a smaller blade, because these things, like, their blades are pretty big, like over a meter in length, which is pretty cool. So, like, 2 feet, I guess, for you metric imperial people or whatever. But yeah, these things are fantastically cool. I mean, just the fact that you can have a real lightsaber in your hand that lights up just like the movies with a movie-accurate soundboard, and when you wave it around, there is an accelerometer in the hilt which senses the movement, so it goes woom, 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 and when you clash them against an object or another lightsaber, you get the psh, psh sound effects. So it's pretty badass. However, though, these are just the entry-level lightsabers that are out there. If you go to a website like fx-sabers.com, you can get a lightsaber that's built out of a Graflex camera flash, which is what the original lightsabers were built of when the first movie came out. And these things can cost you in upwards of $2,000. But let me tell you, they are worth. These are like the Mercedes-Benz of lightsabers.
Yeah.
Whereas the Hasbro ones, they're kind of like the Ford version of lightsabers. I'm not saying they're bad. No. They're just for the entry-level enthusiasts, but they're remarkably cool. So that's what I gotta say. The Hasbro Signature Series Force Effects lightsabers are totally worth it. Pick up your favorite character saber and go to a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I just never really got into I love the movies. Don't get me wrong. And I'm probably gonna get flack for this. I love all 6 films. So do I. I love the originals better, but I love all 6. I just never got into the Star Wars toys.
See, I collected the entire Revenge of the Sith line, and I love it. One of the things I really want to do at some point is, I don't know, I'm tempted to sell my Revenge of the Sith collection, minus a few of the stuff that was really hard to find, to help pay for my wedding. But I want to come back into Star Wars and maybe just collect the lightsabers again, because, I don't know, there's something about the Star Wars toys I love, but I'm not as into it as I once was. Actually, I found myself recently getting more into G.I. Joe, Street Fighter, and the Halo McFarlane figures. I've actually bought quite a few of those recently. So maybe on a future ToyCast, I'll talk about those.
Yeah, I'm with Transformers, with not knowing what's happening as far as, we've heard about Power Core Combiners as supposedly being the new next official toy line after Revenge of the Fallen. And outside of Mighty Muggs, I'm actually probably going to go back to the Masters of the Universe Classics collection line and try to find some of those figures, because they've re-released a lot of those. And I've been watching Pixel Dan and That New Toy Smell and MattyCollector.com, watching all that stuff, and I'm really starting to get back into Masters of the Universe again. Just Transformers right now is just dead. It just is. I mean, you have like Revenge of the Fallen, but I mean, I don't like the movie toys.
I'm not a big fan of the movie toys. I mean, I love Transformers, but the only line that ever really caught my attention was the Alternators, and I'm still missing quite a chunk of those, so I just kind of gave up.
Animated is very good if you like the card
style.
Yeah, if you like the style, it's very good. The animated figures, though, they are extremely complex transformations. The movie figures are, from what I've heard, are more complex, but for me, animated was very, very complex. I'm actually going back because I'm doing the other show, Beast Unleashed. I've been trying to find some of the Beast Wars and Beast Machines characters that I liked. I actually just got, I don't know if you're going to be able to see him. Let's see if I can, no, it's not going in the right direction. Back behind me on my dresser, I have a friend of mine sent me a Optimal Optimus. So I have a giant monkey transformer now.
I should show you my toy collection. I don't know if you can see it from where you are. Let me see if I can tilt that up.
Yeah.
You really can't see a whole lot there. I have one animated toy. I got a talking animated Prime.
Yeah.
For $10.
Yeah, that's the Supreme Optimus Prime figure where David K is the voice of it. Yeah. The Supreme figure, when I saw it, it was still MSRP at $40, and I'm sorry, I'm not paying $40 for that.
The only toy I've ever paid expensive for that was a Transformer is my 20th anniversary Prime.
Yeah.
And that was where because I totally got it for like $10. Other than that, I only collect the alternators. I have a G1 Metroplex that's mostly complete. I just have to get new fists and a new gun for Scattershot. And maybe replace the little car guy. But everything else works great. I mean, the Transformers are in pretty good shape. But, I don't know, I used to collect Superman figures for a little while. Then I kind of fell out of that.
Yeah, no. I tried getting into that. I tried collecting it's DC superheroes. It was basically when I was really hyped up on Justice League Unlimited, and those figures suck. I mean,
they didn't do anything.
Well, they didn't do anything. They came with all these cool accessories, but like Green Lantern has like this giant green glowing fist that you can attach to his hand. It's supposed to be one of his constructs, but Batman, they have no stand-up ability at all unless you're leaning them up against something. Batman, the only way I could get him to stay up without falling over was he is jointed at the knee, and when you joint him to bend his knee, it looks like you broke his fucking leg. That's just what it looks like, and it's ridiculous. So, right now, I've said previously on this show, since we've started the new year, 2010, this year is pretty much the year of saving for me, as far as saving money, just putting money aside. My birthday is coming up, so I'm probably going to want to go to Toys R Us and see if I can find more of these guys, because I'm really liking the Marvel Mighty Muggs. I also love the G.I. Joe ones. I do want to complete the collection for that, and right now it's not going to cost a whole lot to do that. I already have Cobra Commander. I only need Duke, Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, and Destro and Baroness, and that's probably going to cost me maybe $80 to get all of them. Maybe less than that, not including the shipping, so I don't know. Overall, as I've said before in the show, Mighty Muggs, I think are cool. Some people don't. And then, of course, the lightsabers, they are cool. Even though, for me, I wouldn't spend $2,000 on a lightsaber just to have a toy. But
they're cool, though, because you can do professional-style duels with them, and you can record your own sounds from an SD card. I mean, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right, well, we are going to close this one out, unless you have anything else you want to bring up.
Not really. I mean, the next time I come on the show, I might talk about the Street Fighter 4 figures that I have. They're pretty badass. Or maybe the McFarlane Halo figures from ODST.
Okay. So thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. There are several ways to get in contact with us, leave feedback for the show. The first is you can visit www.geekcastradio.com. Find all the other GCRN podcasts there. The second is you can stop by PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Those are our forums. And the third is you can leave the show feedback in iTunes. Please do this. We now have a voicemail line. Call us and leave us your thoughts on each episode. Be sure to say what show you're leaving the message for and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. You can follow us on Twitter. The show name there is TFToycast. Mine is TFG1Mike. And Mike, what is your Twitter?
My Twitter is @Birdman Dodd.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast and wish you'll join us next time. Be sure to visit our sponsors, www.bigbadtoystore.com, for all your Transformers and other toy-related needs and more. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Mike the Birdman Dodd.
And Mike, what are your final thoughts before we close?
Well, gotta say, it's nice to be able to talk toys, so hopefully I'll have a chance to talk toys a lot more on this show. And in fact, look forward to a Twig special on high-end collecting later on this season with several awesome special guests. So, as I'm often fond of saying whenever I sign off, live free or die hard, and Mike, finish us out, buddy.
You're not gonna fart again? Yes, we will see you next time here on ToyCast. Oh, before I end this, you should also visit www.superheromugs.com to watch Redhead Henry's awesome shows, The Superhero Mugs.
There you are, Wolverine.
Piston sequence initiated.
Tag, you're it. This game is over. Had enough, Cajun? Just say en glue.
Don't hurt him!
Huh?
This is Optimus Prime, and you're listening to All Things Transformers with Steve Megatron and TFG1 Mike. Transform and roll out!
Soon it will be a new year, a new decade, and that means a new Transformers review podcast from the minds that brought you the TFG1 podcast and all things Transformers. Coming January 11th, 2010 is the Beast Unleashed podcast. This will feature Steve Megatron, Pecan Court Michael, and TFG1 Mike. 30 pulse-pounding, discussion-filled episodes covering both Beast Wars and Beast Machines. This is the first ever Beast Wars review podcast, so unleash the beast in you. You can find us on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. The TFG1 podcast has 24 action-packed discussion episodes on the original Transformers cartoon, so if you're a fan of the 80s cartoon, we have all you need and more, as well as an interview with Stan Bush. You can find us on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Tune in.
There once was a boy, an albino I'm told, who possessed the power of pen-pusher gold. He had many stories, all short and exciting, but nobody knew, and so he began writing. He sat there all summer and skillfully sought to perfectly ponder and polish each plot. The settings were set, all the characters cast, his fingers were flying and flailing so fast, and soon the young man with the snowy complexion quickly concocted the caffeine collection. He smiled, satisfied with his clever creation. Oh, the things that did pour from his imagination. Stories of pirates and future police, of devils and bullies, and a twist press release. Fantasy, mystery, both are included. Comedy, action, no genre excluded. You say to yourself, it's too good to be true, but author Steve Saylor would not lie to you. An audiobook so you don't have to read. And hey, $15 is all that you need.
From the author of the podcast novel Black Shadow, Steve Saylor presents The Caffeine Collection, a dynamic audiobook collection of short stories presented by ringtonefeeder.com and stevesaylor.net. Steve presents a genre mashup of multiple stories for your ears.
I have to be on caffeine to write all this.
Steve Saylor presents The Caffeine Collection, on sale October 28th, 2009.
So mark this day down so you will not forget. For more information, stevesaylor.net.
ToyCast is all new as we have transformed and transcended from just being Transformers ToyCast into ToyCast. We'll talk about any toy line from any generation, even Rock'em Sock'em Robots. You can find us on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Start being a kid again and keep collecting those toys. Moo ha 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 ha.